Hey there, if you're an empath or a highly sensitive person, you need to watch this video. The information I'm going to share with you is super important for the rest of your life. So this morning I was on a Q&A call as part of my online course where students can dial in and we can talk about things that they're learning on the course or go through problems that they're experiencing as being an empath and work out how to resolve them. So I had this one lady this morning, and one of the things that she shared with me is she said, my life is too challenging. And there's a great deal of sadness that came with that thought, and also that it brought about suicidal thoughts. Now, most humans, especially empaths, have that thought. If you imagine it's like a software or a mind virus, it's on the computer. So if you imagine your mind being like a computer, we all have this thought, my life is too challenging. Now, as part of the course, I get the students to work through it themselves. So I give them a method to find out what is really behind that thought. What is the underlying energy weakness? So she went through the map that she's given, and she found out that it wasn't coming from her mind. It wasn't her thinking, it wasn't her emotions, and it wasn't some sort of psychological fear. She found that it was empathy. Empathy came up as the primary weakness for that thought. And she found that it was coming from her mum. So what this lady was doing was she was empathizing and downloading the software from her mother that her mother was experiencing. So her mother right now, or this morning, was experiencing, my life is too challenging. And there was a lot of sadness and suicidal thoughts. And then when she checked in a bit deeper, she also found that her mother had exactly the same thing, and her mother and her mother. So what was happening, like a virus, each generation would kind of absorb the thought of the previous generation, and that creates a cycle. So this lady realized that and to use her expression, that she was crying the tears of her mother. And so this has been going on for generations, and each generation it comes down, it gathers more energy. And so this was causing her to want to not be on the planet anymore. So she strengthened herself to the empathy. She'd found the exact source of the energy and the information, which was her mother. She strengthened herself to it, and instantly she was neutral, as in no more sadness, and the thought wasn't there anymore. So what she'd done is she'd learned to do this. She cleared the virus off her mind, and she'd also cleared it for her mother and the generations up, the ancestral information. And it was to such an extent that it was like a curse. A curse is an old word for just generational software that's come down, and it is too strong. She cleared it for herself, and now she no longer has that on her computer. So it no longer comes up. So you imagine what she's going to be able to do now that she no longer has a thought, my life is too challenging. So she's going to look forward to challenge, and it will not limit her anymore, and she won't be being affected by her mother and her ancestral generations. My experience as a teacher, this happens all the time. So what I want you to take from this video is, if you know, as an empath, and I think most people are on the scale of somewhere on empath, but most empaths are like too extreme, or highly sensitive person. You need to understand that you are going to be running other people's stuff, but because it's their stuff and you're running it on your own computer, it's going to ruin you. It's going to cause you a lot of problems. So you need to work out who's doing what, where's it coming from, like computers. Is this my computer or someone else's? Be able to remove it and clear it, and then you will come back to being much more yourself, and you're not going to be limited by other generations, or you won't turn into your mother or your father. It's a way to cut those generational influences, and it really liberates. And she was just like over the moon. And the other thing that was fantastic about it was she did it herself. I didn't do it. I just kind of guided her a little bit. So if you're interested in working out this for yourself and clearing generational patterns that are coming down for you, because it affects everyone, you can check out the link below, where it takes you and explains to you a little bit more about the course. Or if you'd just like to reply back to this email, and if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for listening, and really appreciate it.